Hello, Instagram. Thanks for joining me today. Today's topic is cardio. Hey, Chad, can you hear me? We had some sound problems last week, so hopefully this week we don't encounter those. Today's topic is, oh, good, thanks. Today's topic is cardio, which, when, or why, and this is a question I think a lot of people ask themselves. What type of cardio should I be doing it? How often should I be doing it? What time of day should I be doing it? Hey, Danny, thanks for joining me all the way from Newfoundland. I think you're still there, aren't you? I was watching your Instagram, what were they called? Instagram stories today, and saw that it looks amazing there. What a beautiful way to do cardio in the morning, is walk around and take in that nature. Fantastic. So I think we're just about ready to go. I think we've got a few people. All right, right on. A few people viewing us, and we're going to get this information off to you right away. But first, I have to say, wow, yesterday was the International Events Qualifier in Laval, Quebec, and what a great show that looked like. I wish I could have been there in person, but wow, what a great show. I had two athletes that I had trained for this one, Anne-Marie and Jack, and both of them did very well in their respective classes. Anne-Marie Flynn came third in both the Open and the Masters Figure Division, and Jack Stewart came third in the Grandmaster Men's Physique Division. So congratulations to you guys. Super proud of you. You're probably both driving home now, so you're not going to see this live, but hopefully you'll catch it later. Enjoy the next couple days. And this goes for all the athletes that competed at the International Events Qualifier. Enjoy these next couple days. Don't rush to get back into the gym. You're going to probably be dehydrated, and you need a little break, and enjoy a little bit of food. Don't go crazy. You don't want to hurt yourself, but enjoy the food. Also, a big shout out to Jason Green and his team. Yeah. Hey, Aaron. Yeah, well done. I saw that you had gone up there and placed top 5 in your division. So congratulations to you. Jason Green, one of our team athletes and coaches, has had a fantastic turnout for his athletes. He actually had 2 guys turn pro. So Alan turned pro in the men's physique division, and Quinton earned his pro card in bodybuilding. So congratulations to you guys. Well done. Congratulations to you all, the team. So today we are going to talk about cardio. But before I do that, there's actually another little note I wanted to mention to you guys. We have a big sale on our website. We actually have two a year, and we have one coming up. And this is our 12th anniversary sale. And we are not going to make this sale public. We are only going to let our newsletter people know about this sale because it's pretty big. So please make sure you go to agarmy.com and subscribe to our newsletter if you would like details on the sale that's coming up in the next couple weeks. So check that out. Let's dive into this. And remember, this is Facebook Live. So anytime you guys have questions or anything like that, please just ask them, and I'll pop them up on the screen on Facebook Live. On Instagram too, please feel free to ask your questions. I'm happy to answer them for you. I'm sure there's a lot of questions about cardio. So I will do my best to answer them all for you. And if I don't get to them, remember, I will get to them eventually after the broadcast is over. I go through and I answer all the questions, even some of the questions that I already answered live. I'll go through and put little text answers underneath as well, just in case someone else is checking it out or in case you missed it in the video. So that will be there. And also we post this on our Advanced Genetics YouTube channel, which is Advanced Genetics TV. So if you want to watch it again and you can't find it on the Facebook, you can go to our YouTube channel and watch it there. So let's begin. Let's start with, first off, the why. Why do you do cardio? And there are different reasons to do cardio. Some people will do it because they want to lose body fat. I think most of you who are here today joining me are probably doing it for that specific reason, to lose body fat. But, there's other reasons as well, just for cardiovascular health. This is something that usually when we get a little bit older, we start getting a little more concerned about, making sure our heart is healthy. And some people just like to do cardiovascular exercise for fun. For me, fun is going to the gym and lifting weights, but some people love to put on a pair of sneakers and run around the block a few times, or run in the park, or take their dogs out and run with their dogs. So there's different reasons to do cardiovascular exercise, and there will be different options for you depending on what the purpose of your cardiovascular exercise is. We're going to talk mostly about burning or doing cardio for fat loss more than anything else, because I think that is going to hey Aaron, all right, good, have a safe flight home, all the best. We're going to talk about fat loss more than anything else. When it comes to doing cardiovascular exercise for fun, just do whatever you enjoy, basically, if you love it. Jogging is a tough sport. It's a tough activity. It is hard on your joints. All that impact, there's a lot of impact, but, if someone loves jogging as much as I love going to the weight room, then I'm certainly not going to dissuade you from jogging. It's probably not the best fat loss exercise either. So I'd say, unless it's the one you just love to do, I think we can find a better option for you if your main purpose is fat loss. But we'll get into that a little bit more when we talk about which type of cardiovascular exercise to do. So once again, remember, if you have a question as we go along, either here on Instagram or on Facebook, please just feel free to ask me, and I will do my best to answer the question. So the next biggest thing is when. When do we do cardiovascular exercise? When is the best time? Should we do it first thing in the morning? Should we do it after the gym? Should we do it, separated from our workouts? And the short answer is yes to any of those. The first thing you have to ask yourself is, if your target is to lose body fat, you have to watch your nutrition, number one, and then you have to watch cardio at the same time. And you have to make sure those two things mesh together very well. And what I mean by that is you don't want to be doing a ton of cardio and not eating very much. So you want to make sure that as you increase and this is what a good coach will do for you, teach you that as you want to either increase your cardio or decrease your calories. You don't necessarily want to do both at the same time. The secret to doing a diet or a contest prep or a diet or a fat loss regime of any kind is to make sure you go in slow increments. This is why it's best to do any sort of fat loss protocol over a long period of time rather than a short period of time, because you don't ever want to adjust things too dramatically, because your body will get used to whatever you throw at it very quickly. So you want to be able to do things slowly and lose body fat at a slow rate, as opposed to trying to drop a ton of weight really quick, which just ends up not being the best situation. You crash your metabolism, or cardio just stops working, et cetera, et cetera. So I just think I went off on a little tangent there. So let me rewind. We'll go back to when, and I'll just simply answer those questions for you. When is the best time? Well, I'm of the camp that believes that cardiovascular exercise, when aiming for fat loss, is best done fasted first thing in the morning. And the reason for this is because our body likes to burn glycogen, or carbohydrates, primarily for energy. But in the morning, you don't have a lot of glycogen stores. Your glycogen stores are very low. So it will dig into fat and use fat primarily as your energy source. So for me, this is like the number one best time to do cardiovascular exercise for fat loss. First thing in the morning, fasted. Now, I don't go completely fasted because I think you still can run the risk of losing a little bit of or digging to muscle stores for energy. So what I like to do, I'll give you a couple of options, but what I like to do, and this is product plugs, but so beware, but I mean, this is why I designed this product. One of the main purposes, AMO8, which is essential amino acids. Now, remember, protein is made up of essential and non-essential amino acids. This is just the essential amino acids. So this is very much like a concentrated protein. 5 grams of AMO8 is equivalent of about 15 grams of protein. So logically, you can think, well, why don't I just use a protein? You could use I would recommend a hydrolyzed protein if you're going to use a protein instead of AMO8 essential amino acids, just because of the extremely low carbohydrate content in a hydrolyzed as well as its quick absorption. But it's not going to absorb as quick as an essential amino acid. And the other bonus of AMO8 versus a whey or casein hydrolyzed is that it's not a milk protein. So you're not going to develop an intolerance to it using it every single day, where you may with a whey or a casein. So this is why I highly recommend the AMO8 essential amino acids over a protein source. This will get you anabolic. This will get your body into a positive nitrogen balance. And I think this is important to do before your fasted cardio in the morning. I also like to mix it with our athlete superfood, which is our greens supplement. You can use just about any green supplement. Just make sure it's carb free or extremely low in carbs. I know some of the better tasting ones around have quite a bit of sugar in them, so check the ingredients. It's super important. Ours is stevia sweetened. There's no artificial anything in it. This will get your body alkaline. So this is a really great stack to start your day with. Whether you do fasted cardio or whether you just like to wait an hour or two before you eat your first meal of the day is a great way to start your day. All right, so let's say you can't do fasted cardio for whatever reason. You can't get up in the morning, or maybe the gym is far away, maybe kids, et cetera, et cetera. So what's the second best time of day to do cardiovascular exercise? Now I'm gonna give you an option here, but I'm gonna tell you that really the second best time of day is any time apart from your weight training exercise. And why is that? I'm gonna read this to you because it's basically, well, I'll read it to you and then you can actually, where do I have it? I have it here. What happens if you do cardiovascular exercise right after weight training is that you risk decreasing muscle growth by inhibiting mTOR, which is basically a signaling system that tells your muscle to turn on protein synthesis, because there's an increase in AMPK from your cardiovascular exercise. So basically, AMK inhibits the muscle growth that's stimulated by lifting. So this isn't huge. This isn't like super major. I've never really, I've never seen any real evidence that someone loses muscle mass when they do cardio post workout. But it does happen. It is going to happen, and it's not going to happen to a huge amount, but it is, when you're trying to maximize everything, to know that, oh geez, if I do cardio post workout, I may be inhibiting some of the muscle growth that I stimulated during my workout. So this is why I recommend splitting up. And Jennifer just asked a great question. How long post lifting would be okay? I would try to do it like 6 hours apart, and 4 to 6 hours apart, just to give your body that time to that AMK is no longer inhibiting the mTOR from your workouts. So you can do it. You can do your cardio, before, like 4 to 6 hours before your weight training, or 4 to 6 hours after your weight training, depending on what time of day, of course, your weight training is. So it is best to split it up. Now, if you can't, for whatever reason, workouts, or excuse me, just your schedule, work schedule, how far the gym is from your home, et cetera, and then, go ahead and do it post-workout. Thousands of people have done their cardio post-workout without really probably noticing any sort of massive decrease in muscle gain. But like I said, when we're trying to maximize everything, it does make sense to split them apart. So if you can possibly do that, that would be the best bet. I got a question from Tevin Crawford. What form of cardio prefer? I'm actually going to cover that next, so stick around because we're going to go over which types next, and that's going to be a lot of fun. I know a lot of people have debate over which type of cardio they think is best, but I'm going to share with you what I think is the best. Claude asks, would you take those products while you do cardio or after? No, you want to take them right either before or during. So we're talking about the Amylate. Amylate, first thing, get your body in a positive nitrogen balance. If you're jumping right on the treadmill immediately, mix this with, I like to dilute it a lot, so I also drink a lot of water with like a full shaker cup, which is like 700 mils of water. And then I'll just sip on it. I'll drink probably half, and then I'll jump on the treadmill and then sip the rest while I'm training. And I do mix it with the athlete superfood as well to get my greens and get me alkaline. So yeah, you want to do it before, either all of it before or most of it before, and then some of it during. Josh asks, when training, you empty your glycogen stores post-training cardio. Yes, that's the other reason why, we talked about fasted cardio in the morning and having those low glycogen stores. So yes, when you weight train, once again, your body uses primarily glycogen for the weight training, so you will have depleted glycogen levels. So post cardio would be fine for that purpose, for doing cardio on a low glycogen and tapping into more fat stores. However, that whole AMPK thing that we talked about, it's best, if you can, to divide them up and separate them completely. So the optimal would be to do your fasted cardio in the morning and then do your weight training in the afternoon. That would be the optimal, I think. Okay, so now we're going to go into, if there's any questions, like I said, as we go along, please feel free to ask, and I will do my best to answer them for you. Next up, so I hope you're still there, Tevin, because we're going to talk now about which type of cardio is best. I know I put in our event, I had put a little poll up and asked people what their favorite type of cardio was. And gosh, I want to pull that up because I can't remember. I can't remember what it was, but I think most people like the low intensity cardio over high intensity. That's what I think I remember. There was just a few votes on it, but it's pretty divided overall. Lots of people like HIIT, lots of people like low intensity, steady state, or LISS, and there's different reasons. There's benefits to both. So I'm going to share with you my personal preferences and why. But first, maybe I'll explain what the two differences are very quickly. We have low intensity, steady state cardio, which is basically, most people will do walking either on a treadmill, or you can even do it outside. I will give you a little tip. When you do low intensity or anything on a treadmill, but especially with the low intensity stuff, you have to make sure don't hang on to the treadmill, because that's that's actually half the exercise is swinging your arms. Okay, so just don't hang on. Make sure you swing your arms and get the most out of the exercise. Low intensity doesn't mean a leisurely walk. It means really walking with some intention. You really want to feel your heart rate getting up. They say to aim around 120 beats per minute. You don't want to go too high above that, but I think that really depends on the individual. Someone that's highly trained may have to get their heart rate up a little bit higher because their heart is so efficient. Other people who are maybe not in great shape at all can maybe get away with 100 or 110 beats per minute because their heart is just getting used to it. But you should feel like you're working. You shouldn't feel like it's nothing. You shouldn't be, if you had to give it an intensity level, you shouldn't be able to sing, but you should be able to talk relatively normally. So that gives you an idea of the intensity level, how it should feel. You should feel like your heart rate is up. You should feel sweat, like a little bit of sweat, but you shouldn't feel exhausted. Your legs shouldn't burn. So you don't want to put it on a super high angle so that you're actually working your legs, right? You want to just have it as a low intensity, but still working sufficiently. And then we have then we have a middle ground, which is where jogging and that sort of thing, or maybe even speed walking to some degree, but more like a jog. And I call this kind of no man's land when it comes to fat loss. This has been shown to not really be very beneficial for losing fat. So if that's our primary goal, we kind of want to avoid jogging altogether. The other end of the spectrum is HIIT, which is high intensity interval training. And the way this is done, many people do it in different ways. But the way that I have seen it done most effectively, and the one that I think has some science behind it, is to go for a walk, a slow walk, maybe more like a low intensity, steady state speed for about 3 minutes, and then a all out 30 seconds as hard as you can go, and then back down to 3 minutes again at low intensity, and then boom, back up high intensity. The thing about high intensity is you have to give it everything when you do that 30 seconds. You have to go all out. I'll tell you, your lungs burn. You're just like counting down the seconds for those 30 seconds. You can't do it half-assed. You have to go all out, all or nothing with the high intensity. And then you do it for about 7 cycles of that 30 seconds, 3 minutes, 30 seconds, 3 minutes. I think that takes, I think it's 7. Goodness, I have it written down somewhere, but it should take about 20 minutes or so to do that. So maybe it's only 5 or 6 cycles, and then you can work your way up slowly to more and more cycles of it. So the benefit, obviously, of high intensity interval training is that it's very fast. Low intensity steady state, you have to start with about 30 minutes. That's where you start, and you have to gradually increase it as time goes on because your body does get used to it. So it's very time consuming, and a lot of people that get ready for especially bodybuilding shows and stuff might even end up doing more than one cardio session because they've got it going so long, up to 2 hours. Some people even more than 2 hours a day. So it's very time consuming. High intensity interval training, not time consuming at all. You're supposed to only do it 3 to 4 days a week. It takes anywhere from 15 minutes to maybe half an hour you can build up to. Now, my preference is low intensity steady state, and I'll tell you why. When we do weight training is really like high intensity interval training. If you think about it, we get our heart rate really high up when we're actually doing the physical exercise, and then we take a break until our heart rate kind of levels, and then we hit another set. So the issue that I have with high intensity interval training is if you weight train at a very high intensity level, that takes a toll on your central nervous system. And if you do the high intensity interval training on top of that, you're going to be really putting yourself into a state that's very difficult to recover from. And I would probably recommend that you do your high intensity interval training cardio, if you chose that, on your days away from the gym. on your days off. And like I said, it's almost like doing another weight training session almost. So if you have very good recuperative abilities, then maybe that's something you can look at doing. Or maybe, if you just go in to train with weights and you don't really kill it in the gym, you're just kind of in there to tighten and tone, or just kind of go, not necessarily just go through the motions, but if you're not training at a very high intensity level, then probably you can get away with HIIT as your cardio choice. Now, for me, I train very hard, so I've tried HIIT before in the past, and I just felt like I was digging myself into a deeper hole. So I don't mind taking the time to do treadmill, to do the low intensity stuff. I'm very fortunate. I have a treadmill at home, so getting up in the morning and jumping on that is not time consuming as far as travel or anything else. It's super convenient. Walking in the summer is really great. We have here in Halifax, I don't know what the weather's like in your area, but here in Halifax, we basically have two seasons. We have a summer and winter. We have a very short spring and a very short fall. But spring and summer and fall, they're all great for walking, and getting out in nature is a wonderful thing if you get a chance. So, especially if I'm getting ready for a show, that's why I love fall shows, because if I get up to twice a day cardio sessions, I can do one on the treadmill in the morning and then go for an evening walk a few hours after my afternoon weight training routine. Just wondering if there's anything else that I wanted to cover in HIIT or LIS. Well, let's see what we have for questions here. I saw some questions come up. Leanne McDonald asked, can you take that even if you're not doing fasted cardio? My cardio is post-workout. Does this also become part of your macro count? So I think we're talking about the AMO8 and the athlete's superfood. If you're really counting your calories, like really right down to the last calorie, then yes, you can count. You could count these in your calories. The AMO8, that 5. You're looking at about, per scoop, you could almost equate it to pure protein calories, almost. So you're looking at like 20 calories per scoop. These are all essential amino acids, though. There's no like carbs or anything. So you could count it as 20 calories per scoop. The athlete's superfood, I think it's like 2 grams, so maybe 10 calories per scoop. So super low. I mean, they're not really going to impact your calorie count very much at all. And yes, absolutely, you can, even if you're not doing a fasted cardio, you could do the AMO8 athlete superfood, especially if you don't eat first thing in the morning. If you eat first thing in the morning, as soon as you get up, then you don't necessarily need it. But if you're doing, I would use the AMO8 intra workout for sure. If you're not doing any carbs, if you're on a very low carb diet, of course, I prefer the Battle Juice intra workout always. But when you get to that point when you're on low carbs, then switch over to the AMO8. So, and that will also make your post-workout cardio a little better or a little more efficient for fat loss as well, because you're not taking in the carbs from the Battle Juice. So I recommend 1 to 2 scoops of AMO8 intra-workout for that purpose. And the greens, the athlete superfood, you can just take any time of day, really, if you're not using it first thing in the morning. All right, so Aaron's asking, wouldn't weight training be more beneficial in the evening, a few hours before sleep? The nap idea is good, or sleep idea to help you recover from your weight training is good. Thanks. BZZZEB says Battle Juice is great on Instagram, so thank you very much. I'm glad you like it. Sort of, but not necessarily, Aaron. The thing about weight training in the evening, a lot of us use pre-workouts, and actually I'll keep that up there. And the pre-workouts stay in your system for a lot longer than most people think. Caffeine stays in your system for a long time, so it can actually interfere with your sleep quite a bit. So you have to be careful with that. As well, a nap works as well. So a little 20-minute nap post-workout if you need it. Um, I prefer to weight train as early as possible. I usually go around 1 o'clock in the afternoon. That's when my energy is the highest. They say that is one of the better times to train as well. But I mean, that's not really practical either. Most people work, 9 to 5 or whatever, so they have to train in the evening. So really, weight training at any time of day it's important to go when you can go. That's the best time to train. It's the same with cardio. The time that you can go is the best time for your cardiovascular exercise. Um, so it doesn't really matter when you weight train. That the meal post workout, of course, is important. Your intra-workout nutrition is actually as important, if not more important, than your post-workout meal. So I don't know if it's really beneficial. I'm answering this question in a really long way. Sorry, Aaron, I do this to you every time because I have to think about it and then I have to sound it out. That's the problem with live, is that I don't really have the time to practice any of these answers. So sometimes I kind of change my mind halfway through. But is it more beneficial? I wouldn't say it's more beneficial. No, I don't think it really matters too much. But it is nice, if possible, to get a little bit of sleep in after you're done training. But I don't think it's really necessary. But it is very necessary and very important to get a good night's sleep, because this is when you recuperate and grow and recover. So I don't think I have a bottle here, but oh, I do. Look at that. Wow. So this is where the Godart comes into play. This has a full dose NMA as well as herbs to help you get a good night's sleep and a more restful night's sleep. So more REM sleep than you might normally. It's a great product. People that have tried it love it. I know I love it. I actually got myself off of pharmaceutical sleep aids with it. It is that good. So give it a try if you have any issues at all sleeping. And do keep in mind that caffeine thing, because if you do have a lot of trouble sleeping, maybe that you're having caffeine too late in the day. With HIIT, is it true that fast loss really kicks in around the 20 mark? Well, I don't know necessarily if sorry, I just noticed my phone went to low battery. It can be as little as 15 minutes high intensity cardio gives a fat burning benefit, and it does last for hours afterwards. The results last for hours afterwards. So, but I think it's about 15 minutes is when it is the minimum for HIIT cardio. And it's the same for weight training as well. After you weight train, the fat burning benefits of weight training continue for hours afterwards, much like the HIIT. Cora asks, can you switch up HIIT and low intensity throughout the week? Sure you can. I've worked with some clients who have a real difficult time with losing body fat, and sometimes we throw a couple HIIT workouts in a week. So just remember to keep the HIIT minimal, 2, maximum 4 times a week, and the low intensity stuff you can do every day. Wow, this is a great question. And I'm reading these as you guys read them, so that's why I'm reading them out loud. If muscle growth is the goal, am I sacrificing muscle gains by continuing to do morning fasted cardio steady state for 1 hour, 5 days per week? Will it make cardio less effective? That's a great question. I recommend for off season, I would just do 30 minutes. 30 minutes is going to keep your body healthy. It's going to also help with it can help with appetite. It also help keep your body fat lower, which is very important off season to keep your body operating at a optimal level. So I like to do off season is cardio on all my off days. I weight train 4 days a week, so I'll do cardio 3 days a week. If I'm looking to get rid of a little extra body fat without going like super hardcore fat loss, then I'll do cardio every day for 30 minutes fasted. So it's not really going to impede your muscle growth. And I know, Jennifer, that you use the Ammo8 Athlete Superfood before your early morning cardio, so I don't have to reiterate that. So yeah, I think that would be my recommendation. Thanks, Candice. I appreciate that. Everybody's different, Donna, as far as caffeine and how long it stays in your system. Some people it can clear their system within a couple hours. Other people take as long as 7 hours for it to clear the system, and it's not necessarily that you still feel it, like you don't feel vibrating or anything still from the caffeine. But sometimes you'll notice when you go to bed and maybe you took caffeine a little late, you'll be exhausted, but you just lay there and you'll be like, oh, why do I feel alert? Like I can't get into that sleep. And Godar can help, but I recommend trying to instead just try to cut yourself off of caffeine earlier in the day. You can take broccoli. Broccoli does help with helping clear caffeine out of your system. So if you like broccoli and you don't mind eating a huge head of broccoli, that can sometimes help. So if you forget, you're like, oh man, I can't sleep, and I took that caffeine too late, you can try eating a head of broccoli, and that might help. Yeah, thanks, Trent. Yes, actually, I heard that. I saw that study too, about HIIT being anti-aging, and weight training is actually anti-aging as well for the exact same purposes. So the big thing is to just be careful. Like I said, and I think the studies were kind of with older people, and these older people are not going to be weight training with high intensity, so they don't have to worry too much about putting too much of a tax on their central nervous system. But for people that like really weight train and go in there and train super hard, it can be a little bit too much on their system. Now, if you don't like to weight train and you only want to do cardio, then yeah, absolutely, probably doing HIIT versus low intensity would be your choice, for sure, because then you get the anti-aging benefits. So I think that pretty much answered all the questions. If I did miss your question, like I said, I will go back and I will answer them all on Facebook. We will be posting this on our Advanced Genetics TV. That's our YouTube channel. If you like the video and you know someone that you think it might help, please tag them and feel free to share it. I try to reach as many people as possible. I am doing this every Sunday at 1 p.m. Atlantic Standard Time. We will be taking next weekend off because next weekend is Mother's Day. I believe it is Mother's Day next weekend, and I will be out of town celebrating that lovely day with my mother-in-law. So we will be skipping next week, but the week after, we plan on trying this an interview, and we're going to try interviewing Renee Legier, who just recently won IPA powerlifting competition and set a couple world records. So I'm pretty excited about that. That'll be a new challenge for us to try to do a live interview. Once again, in case you missed it and you weren't on at the beginning of our broadcast, we are having our 12th anniversary sale coming up on our website. So check out www.agarmy.com and sign up for the newsletter, because that's the only way you're going to find out about the special, the details of the special, is if you are part of our newsletter. I think that's about it. Of course, I mean, another opportunity for a product plug, I can't miss it. But if you are, to make your cardiovascular exercise more effective, you can always add a high quality fat burner like, what am I doing here? Like Shape Up or F10. These are going to just amplify your cardiovascular your efforts that much more. So it's just going to get you from point A to point B a little faster. It's going to give you energy. It's going to help you burn fat more efficiently. So it's certainly something to consider. Now, you don't have to add it right away when you start cardiovascular exercise, but as your body becomes more accustomed to it, it might be something that you want to consider and try out. So thanks again. Thanks for joining me. I really appreciate it. I know there's lots of stuff you can be doing on your Sunday, and to spend it with me means a lot to me. So thank you very much. I wish you all the best. Enjoy the rest of your weekend, and have a great week. And we'll be talking to you soon. I'll post our next Facebook Live on my Facebook page. I'll also be sending out an email to our newsletter and setting up an event as well. So thank you very much once again for joining me. Have a great day. Hoorah.